We dive in to a brand new teaching series called Blueprint for Life. That God has a blueprint for your life, and we are going to kind of walk through this together. And how we're going to do it is we're going to go through the Ten Commandments. How many of you in this room, show of hands, have ever heard of the Ten Commandments before? Raise your hand. Yeah, most of us in this room have. Well, what are some of the things that come to mind when you think about the Ten Commandments? So the first one that may come to mind to you is, they're pretty good and I try to keep them the best I can. Or maybe it comes to mind for you is, the top 10. That's kind of demanding. I'm probably not going to even try. Or maybe you think to yourself, you know what? It's old school. It's archaic. You think Ten Commandments. You think of Charlton Heston in the movie The Ten Commandments, with his long flowing maroon tunic, right? And his gray hair and all 39 hours of that movie. Great movie, though. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. But did you know the Ten Commandments actually can be divided into two sections? The first 4 commandments really talk about the blueprint that God lays out for our life between us and Him, our relationship with Him. But then the other 6 commands, they have to do with our relationship and each other. So how you really look at the Ten Commandments it's love God, love others. That's how it can be summarized. But did you also know that it was never called the Ten Commandments? It was actually called the 10 Words. That's how it's referenced in Deuteronomy chapter 5 and there in 20 that we're going to look at in a little bit. But as we look at these wonderful, powerful words, how it builds a blueprint for your life, what you and I need to know is there's 2 overarching things we're going to be teaching every single week and kind of going back to. The first one is this. The 10 Commandments, they point us to the grace of Jesus. They do. Maybe you're an unbeliever here today. And maybe you would say to yourself, well, serial murderers and rapists, they deserve to go to a place called hell if there is a hell. But me and you and everyone in this room, we're probably pretty good. I mean, we do pretty good on our own, and and how we always compare ourselves to someone who's not as good as us to feel better about ourselves. But yet, the 10 Commandments actually they reveal that we are sinners, that there is something between us and God, and that impediment is our own shortcoming and our unrighteousness. They tell us, right? They prove to us that we are fallen creatures. I mean, every one of us in this room has lied. And if you are sitting there going, I haven't lied, you're lying right now. Right? Or everyone in this room, we've all wanted somebody else's stuff. Somebody else's wife, husband, whatever the case is, we've all done this. And that's why we need the love and grace of Jesus, the mediator between us and God. Rembrandt, he was a famous painter. Many of you know who Rembrandt was. And he had this unbelievable ability to use this light on his paintings that would just pierce the darkness. But he said that the secret to that light is that he would darken the canvas first to really bring out the brilliance of the light. And in the same way, the 10 Commandments, what they do is they kind of help us understand the depth and darkness of our sin so that the grace and mercy and love of Jesus Christ is fully known. The second thing that overarching that we're going to be looking at together is the 10 Commandments. Therefore, you're good. Therefore, your and my blessing, right? Because He knows best, He has your best in mind. Now, I have up here kind of a replica of a horse fence, right? And this is really what we see when you travel around Lexington. We live in one of the most beautiful cities I've ever lived in, only second really to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where I've lived. But this is a beautiful area we live. We travel the countryside. My friends and family come here. They're like, unbelievable. It's so pretty here. And I said, I know, I'm blessed to live here. And you see horse farms and you see horse fences, and they're black. They look beautiful. They delineate property, but more than that, they keep these beautiful, majestic animals in the right spot. Can the horse jump over them? Well, yeah. Is it best for the horse? Well, no. See, what a fence does is it says, this is a guardrail for your life. And horse, you need to stay on this side of it. Why? Well, because on this side is sustenance, this side is for your good, this side is for your bad. Why? Well, because we know best what is for the horse. In the same way, the 10 Commandments is this. Every time that you see a black horse fence for the rest of your life, I want you to think of the 10 Commandments. I want you to think about that this is God's best for your life. The Bible talks about this multiple times in Scripture. He says in Deuteronomy 10, verse 12 and following, but to fear your God, to walk in all his ways, to love him, to serve the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and to keep the commandments and statutes of the Lord, which I am commanding you today for your good. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 24. And the Lord commanded you to do these statutes, to fear the Lord your God, for our good always. You see, the Ten Commandments, it's not just a bunch of information that you can know. It's supposed to be revelation that leads to your transformation.